Before we move on, let's consider an important point: the common man. In today's world, many men feel undervalued and unappreciated by society, particularly in their interactions with women. This has led to a growing sense of disinterest and disengagement. Why would a man risk his life to protect a society or people who seem to despise him? If a man had a loving wife, children, and a stable home, he'd naturally be motivated to defend and protect them. But modern relationships often fail to provide that sense of purpose. Many men feel that their partners don't respect them or treat them well, leaving them disillusioned. If he doesn't feel like a king in his own home, how can he feel invested in the broader world? This has contributed to the rise of the lone wolves in society, men who walk away from relationships and traditional roles at a rate that confounds many. But why is this happening? Is it bitterness, a fear of commitment, or something deeper? According to research published in the Journal of Marriage and Family, societal shifts have profoundly impacted relationships, leading to more individuals opting out of traditional dynamics. Sigma males, in particular, are at the forefront of this change. However, it's not that Sigma males are incapable of love or connection. On the contrary, they value meaningful relationships deeply. But the modern relationship landscape, with its unspoken rules, unnecessary drama, and constant need for validation, clashes with their values. Sigma males refuse to sacrifice their independence or authenticity just to fit into societal molds. For them, this isn't about giving up on people, it's about redefining what connection truly means. Instead of shallow bonds, Sigma males choose solitude or purpose-driven companionship. They're not running from love, they're walking towards something bigger: freedom, growth, and self-mastery. In this video, we'll explore the reasons why Sigma males are stepping away from relationships. This isn't just a passing trend, but a profound shift that reveals much about the state of modern connections. If you've ever felt like relationships today are more work than reward, you're not alone, and we're here to break it all down. Number 1. The fear of emotional vulnerability in a world that lacks trust. One significant reason Sigma males often step away from relationships is their deep fear of emotional vulnerability in a society that increasingly lacks trust and authenticity. For Sigma males, emotional vulnerability isn't about weakness, it's about choosing wisely where to invest their emotional energy. They understand that being open in a relationship requires a safe space, mutual respect, and the assurance that their vulnerability won't be weaponized against them. However, modern dating culture can make such emotional safety difficult to find. With the rise of ghosting, betrayal, manipulation, and toxic dynamics in relationships, Sigma males are cautious about exposing their inner world. Trust, which is the cornerstone of any meaningful connection, feels harder to establish in a society where superficiality often overshadows authenticity. Sigmas are highly intuitive and emotionally intelligent. They can quickly discern when someone isn't being genuine or when their intentions might be self-serving. This makes them even more hesitant to let their guard down, especially when they sense red flags like dishonesty, insincerity, or ulterior motives. They would rather walk away than risk being hurt or betrayed. Moreover, for Sigma males, emotional vulnerability comes with great responsibility. They don't share their feelings casually or seek sympathy to boost their ego. Instead, they reserve their emotional depth for relationships they believe are worth the investment. They crave partners who offer genuine connection, shared values, and emotional reciprocity. Unfortunately, finding such depth in a fast-paced world obsessed with instant gratification is rare. This reluctance to expose their emotions isn't about fear of commitment or emotional incompetence, it's a calculated decision to protect their mental well-being and inner peace. Sigmas value emotional independence and don't want to rely on others for validation or happiness. They've learned to nurture their emotional health internally, through self-reflection, personal growth, and a strong sense of purpose. Ultimately, Sigma males aren't unwilling to be vulnerable, they're unwilling to be vulnerable with the wrong person. They know that emotional energy is finite and that wasting it on shallow or untrustworthy connections is counterproductive to their long-term goals. This careful selection process often leads them to step away from relationships that don't meet their high standards, choosing solitude over superficial bonds. For the Sigma male, emotional vulnerability is a privilege that only the most deserving individuals can access. They believe that true strength lies in guarding their inner world until they find a relationship that complements their values and nurtures their soul. Until then, they'll continue to protect their emotions, ensuring that their independence and self-mastery remain intact. Number 2. Society's unrealistic expectations of men. Modern society places an overwhelming and often contradictory set of expectations on men, especially within relationships. Men are expected to be romantic, but not overly emotional, balancing sensitivity without appearing weak. At the same time, they are urged to be strong and resilient, yet vulnerable enough to share their feelings, a paradox that leaves little room for genuine self-expression. Adding to this, men are tasked with being providers and protectors while simultaneously being emotionally present and deeply invested in their relationships. These conflicting demands create a constant pressure that is both exhausting and unattainable. Sigma males, however, categorically reject these societal standards and the traditional relationship roles that come with them. They refuse to conform to the notion that they must be heroes or saviors to anyone. Unlike those who strive to meet societal expectations at the expense of their own well-being, Sigmas are unapologetically honest about who they are. They won't pretend to be something they're not, even if that honesty results in them being judged, labeled as cold, selfish, or even commitment phobic. To Sigmas, staying true to themselves is far more important than adhering to societal norms that don't align with their values. One major factor contributing to their stance is the media's glamorization of relationships. Modern entertainment frequently portrays fairy tale romances with grand gestures, perfect endings, and unrealistic ideals of love and partnership. These depictions create an inflated standard for relationships, leaving many people chasing an illusion. For Sigma males, these fantasies are just that, fantasies. They see through the facade and understand that real love isn't about extravagant acts or flawless compatibility. Instead, it's built on mutual respect, shared values, and unconditional support. To them, meaningful relationships are grounded in authenticity, not the fairy tale ideals that dominate popular culture. Furthermore, Sigmas find the societal fixation on relationships as a measure of success completely flawed. Society often equates a person's worth with their ability to find and maintain a relationship, perpetuating the belief that being single or unattached is a sign of failure. Sigmas reject this narrative outright. They prioritize their individuality and personal fulfillment over chasing a societal ideal that doesn't resonate with them. By stepping away from these unrealistic expectations, Sigma males redefine success as living authentically, free from the need for external validation. Number 3. They found fulfillment elsewhere. For Sigma males, the ultimate reason for opting out of relationships is that they simply don't need them to feel whole or fulfilled. While many people look to relationships as a source of happiness, validation, or purpose, Sigmas have already cultivated those things within themselves. They've worked hard to build lives rich with passion, purpose, and meaning, lives that don't rely on external factors for completeness. Unlike those who seek love as a way to fill emotional voids or find direction, Sigmas have already established a deep sense of contentment and independence. Whether it's through their careers, hobbies, personal growth, or pursuit of knowledge, they've created a life that is self-sustaining. Relationships, while they might be a nice addition, are by no means essential to their happiness. For Sigmas, love is a bonus, not a necessity. This isn't to say Sigma males are against relationships or incapable of love, quite the opposite. They value meaningful connections deeply. However, they refuse to compromise the life they've built for a relationship that doesn't align with their values. They won't settle for superficial bonds or connections that disrupt their hard-earned peace. Instead, they're content to wait for the right person, someone who not only fits into their world but enhances it. This patient, deliberate approach to relationships is a testament to their commitment to authenticity and self-respect. In the meantime, Sigma males focus on what truly matters to them: their personal growth, freedom, and authenticity. They've come to understand that the greatest love story isn't necessarily with another person, it's with themselves. By prioritizing their own well-being, they achieve a level of fulfillment that many seek but rarely find. Sigma males are rewriting the rule book on what it means to live a fulfilling life. Their decision to prioritize freedom, authenticity, and purpose over societal expectations is not an act of rebellion, it's an act of profound self-respect. In a world where relationships are often treated as the ultimate goal or a measure of success, Sigmas serve as a powerful reminder that true happiness comes from within. By stepping away from traditional relationship dynamics, Sigma males challenge the notion that love is the only path to fulfillment. Instead, they show that fulfillment comes from building a life rooted in independence, purpose, and authenticity. For Sigmas, the ultimate measure of success isn't a relationship status, it's the ability to live life on their own terms. Number 4. Modern relationships feel like a trap. Sigma males often view modern relationships as more of a trap than a source of joy and connection. In today's world, relationships seem to be less about genuine emotional connection and more about control, conformity, and performative affection. For a Sigma male, who values freedom and independence above all else, the idea of being tethered to someone else's expectations or having to constantly prove his love feels suffocating and unnatural. Modern relationships frequently come with a set of unspoken and often unrealistic expectations. Partners may demand instant replies to texts, frequent updates about one's daily life, or constant affirmations of love and commitment. To a Sigma male, this feels less like a partnership and more like a job, one with an exhausting list of responsibilities and obligations. He's not against relationships, but he is firmly against neediness and dependency. For a Sigma, love should not mean losing the ability to focus on one's own passions, purpose, or inner peace. He craves a connection where independence is celebrated, not where it's sacrificed for the sake of appeasing someone else. Sigmas also refuse to lose themselves in a relationship, a fate that befalls many who compromise their hobbies, goals, and even personal identity in the name of love. While some may find validation in prioritizing their partner over their own needs, Sigma males reject this entirely. They are fiercely protective of their sense of self and will not allow a relationship to dilute their purpose or rob them of the solitude they so deeply cherish. For a Sigma male, a true partner is someone who enhances his life, not someone who demands he mold himself to fit their narrative. Adding to their discontent is the rise of performative relationships in the age of social media. Public displays of affection, constant posting about one's love life, and curating a perfect online relationship can feel inauthentic and even toxic to Sigmas. They prefer a love that is real, understated, and grounded, free from the need to prove anything to the outside world. Drama, public conflicts, and power struggles are the antithesis of what they seek. For Sigma males, peace, depth, and mutual respect are the cornerstones of a meaningful connection. Anything less is not worth their time or energy. This mindset is not a sign of selfishness or arrogance, but rather a reflection of self-respect and knowing their worth. Sigma males value their independence and personal growth so much that they refuse to settle for a relationship that feels like a drain rather than a source of fulfillment. For them, Walking away from a partnership that feels controlling or stifling isn't a sign of giving up, it's an act of reclaiming their freedom and staying true to themselves. In a world that often glorifies romantic relationships as the ultimate marker of success and happiness, Sigma males challenge the norm. They remind us that it's better to walk alone with self-respect than to be in a relationship that compromises your values, peace, and individuality. To a Sigma, true love is a partnership of equals, where both people retain their sense of self while growing together. If they can't find this kind of connection, they'd rather wait or continue their journey alone, content and fulfilled. Number 5. The rise of superficial connections. Modern dating has increasingly turned into a game filled with shallow interactions, fleeting encounters, and impersonal exchanges. This environment, dominated by swipe culture, ghosting, and situationships, feels alien and exhausting to Sigma males, who crave authenticity and depth. For Sigma males, the world of dating apps and social media creates a surface-level marketplace of attraction. Profiles are carefully curated, bios are designed to impress, and much of the communication revolves around gaining likes or temporary attention. To a Sigma, this entire system feels artificial and transactional, lacking the sincerity and emotional connection they value most. It's not that Sigma males can't participate in modern dating, but the sheer superficiality of it leaves them disillusioned and disconnected. Sigmas are deeply introspective individuals, often described as old souls. They value meaningful conversations that go beyond small talk and seek partners with whom they can share not just fleeting moments, but shared values and a sense of purpose. However, the shallow nature of modern dating makes it challenging for them to find people who align with their depth. Dating apps often prioritize appearances, clever one-liners, and instant gratification over genuine emotional compatibility. Sigma males see through this facade, recognizing that beneath the glossy exterior lies a lack of depth and substance. What sets Sigma males apart is their patience and refusal to settle for shallow connections. While many might rush into relationships for fear of being alone, Sigmas are perfectly comfortable waiting for something real and meaningful. They believe that true connection is built on trust, respect, and emotional authenticity, not on the fleeting highs of attention or validation. Highly intuitive and emotionally intelligent, Sigma males can quickly detect manipulation, drama, or inauthentic behavior in potential partners. They're not interested in games or push and pull dynamics, which they view as a waste of time and energy. To them, love should feel effortless, a natural alignment of values and emotions, not a battlefield of mind games or constant power struggles. Rather than immerse themselves in the circus of modern dating, Sigma males choose to focus their energy elsewhere. They channel their time and effort into personal growth, their passions, and building a life of purpose and independence. For Sigmas, relationships aren't something to be pursued out of necessity. They're seen as a natural extension of their lives when the right person comes along. They understand that meaningful connections take time, and they're willing to wait for someone who truly aligns with their values, rather than settling for someone who doesn't. Number 6. The fear of losing their independence. For Sigma males, independence isn't just a preference or lifestyle, it's the very core of their identity. Over the years, they've worked tirelessly to cultivate their freedom, master their craft, and build a life that reflects their personal values. This independence is their greatest asset, and the thought of sacrificing even a fraction of it can feel unthinkable. Many relationships, even unintentionally, create an atmosphere of dependence. Partners begin to rely on each other for happiness, validation, and a sense of purpose. While this dynamic may work for some, it's the exact opposite of what a Sigma male desires. Sigma males believe in being whole and complete on their own, and they seek a partner who shares this mindset. They don't want someone to complete them, they're already complete. What they look for is a companion who celebrates their independence and encourages mutual growth. The fear of losing independence is rooted in the Sigma male's experiences and observations. They've seen far too many people lose themselves in relationships, sacrificing their hobbies, passions, and even their sense of identity in an attempt to make the relationship work. To a Sigma, this is a tragic loss. They understand the importance of staying true to oneself, and they won't compromise their individuality for the sake of a relationship. Sigmas are fiercely protective of their autonomy. They need the freedom to explore their passions, pursue their goals, and live life on their own terms. This doesn't mean they're unwilling to compromise in a relationship. It simply means they won't compromise their core values or sense of self. They value a partner who understands the importance of independence and is equally driven by their own goals and ambitions. While some may see this mindset as selfish, for Sigmas, it's a matter of self-respect and maintaining their integrity. They refuse to be in a relationship that stifles their personal growth or requires them to abandon their dreams. Instead, they prioritize building a life they love and trust that the right partner will come along, a partner who complements their independence rather than challenging it. In a society that often romanticizes the idea of losing oneself in love, Sigma males stand apart. They remind us that the healthiest relationships are those where both individuals retain their autonomy while growing together. For a Sigma, losing their independence would mean losing a fundamental part of who they are, and that's a sacrifice they're simply not willing to make. If you found this video insightful or relatable, why not join our growing community? Subscribe to the channel for more content exploring the mindsets, traits, and behaviors of Sigma males. Your engagement helps us dive deeper into these unique perspectives. Be sure to like this video if it resonated with you, share it with someone who might appreciate it, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Remember, as a Sigma male or someone inspired by their path, staying true to yourself is the ultimate strength. Keep evolving, stay strong, and we'll see you in the next video.